Hello, bonjour. My name is S2E for me. I had a whole intro previously, but like this is my third time taking this video, and like even though you will never hear what it sounded like, I'm like I don't want to do this again. Um, Actually, I mean, if it's gonna make the video better, anyways. Yeah, I'm back for this video, anyways, because I have done another map project. Yes, Operation Blockbuster. It was a Canadian-British operation in 1945 in an invasion to take the Rhineland area. Fun stuff. Anyways, so yeah, I decided to make this video because I had the time to record, and I actually had something to record instead of just me rambling on and on about Coastal Sumer and how it's so annoying. I'll probably make a video later today actually about that. Anyways, yeah, stick around if you actually want to see the stuff. I'll probably have like another minute of backstory, so maybe skip to like 2 minutes or something to actually get into the map. So, anyways, a week ago, on the Call to Battle 2 Discord, one of the admins present, he was like, "Oh, yeah, I don't know who started this one-to-one trend because a lot of people were building like one-to-one scale cities and stuff." He's like, "Well, you guys don't need to do that. You just need to make it like enjoyable and fun stuff." And so, me who was building, Juno Beach one-to-one, all of it, I was like, "Are you talking to me? Oh, I think you're talking to me." And then, I was kind of thinking, you know what? He's kind of right. He's kind of right. And then it's like, wait, that's a challenge. Is that a challenge? I don't think it's a challenge, but I took it as a challenge, and so I made this. Oh, actually, this is a really nice shot. I didn't plan this. I just jumped in a tank. Anyways, let's go visit the map. It's actually 2 minutes, so I kept my promise. So right here before you have Shermans. These Shermans, they're just here to provide cover for the British and Canadians as they try and jump out of this trench-ish thing. It's not really a trench, it's more like a runoff system for water, that sort of thing, of fields. Yeah, it gives you cover, that sort of thing, right? This one spawn point probably. Dash across the field, full of craters and grass. The grass actually isn't supposed to be there. In reality, it would have been completely mud. Reason why I put it here, though, is because, well, if you've ever played Call to Battle 2, and hopefully if this map actually gets added, you'll know that running across an open field is not very good, especially when you only have like I think it's 160 blocks across for this one. Yeah, not fun. So yeah, this is a Sherman Tank. This is actually based off of Angry Lawyer's design. I did adjust it. I moved the turret up a bit, like one block up, extended it out, I think 2 blocks. Personally, I kind of like it a little bit better from the front. It's not that good though. I need to adjust the front somehow, but that's a different story for another day. Funny story, actually. You see this tank right here? Knocked out Sherman. Apparently, according to Connor the Best, he's like, "Oh, that thing looks like a castrated Stug 3," and I'm like, "Really?" And then I looked at it and I was like, "Oh no, it actually does. It kind of does, because like there's a Stug part, and then typically the thing would be built out right over here. Oop, oop, oop. Right, typically like look like that, right? And then you can kind of see the stew part, but also not because it's a wrong stew. Anyways, jump on over here. We have German trenches. Yes, thank you. Some very nice German decided to label this as German trenches. I have to thank them later on. Now, I want to make a little bit of an apology. The trenches are supposed to be more zigzag, really, like they are, but but the problem is that I ran into is I was building from this point all the way to that point over there. But if you notice, there's like 50 or 60 blocks between that point and that point in terms of like that lateral direction. So obviously, not really that easy to make zigzag, but so I did what I could. Yeah, you have some more trenches over there, not as nice. There's a mortar trench right there. That's just supposed to be machine gun posts, but I don't place MG42 or MG32 guns because they lag me like crazy. Now, I want to take a moment and like look at this whole picture altogether. Ignore the tanks, okay? Ignore the grass, all right? This is the first part of the build that I made, right? And the reason why I did that is because this is actually based off of one single picture that I found. When I was doing research for the Operation Blockbuster, this is what I found. Like this, there's a series of trenches here, a little bit back there, down there. This entire layout is pretty much based off of that picture. The houses as well, you can see the destroyed houses. Yeah, so this entire area here is based off of that picture. The forest over there does not exist, and the railway actually does not exist in the picture. These are actually supposed to be reinforced houses, and apparently they were able to stand up to Sherman Firefly shots. I don't quite know how that happened, but you know, the Germans apparently are quite good at building that sort of thing. I actually came across a funny, yeah, it's not really a funny story, but a weird one where apparently there was a Sherman who fired like 4 rounds into one of the houses, only for a German to pop up and like thumb his nose at them. Like, ooh, okay, yeah, gives you a little bit of idea of the kind of fighting that went on. This farmhouse here actually is not supposed to be in the picture. I just put it here to take up some space. So continue here. This railway technically does not exist in that picture, that section, but it does exist in that section over there, and you'll see why. So now this here is just a forest I decided to build because I kind of wanted to have it has a transition between the trenches of the country-ish side over here to the more built-up town of Xanten. So continue through here, you know, I kind of got like Barbarossa vibes from this, like the map Barbarossa on Call of Battle 2. Thing here, and we get to the first line and the second line of defenses, which is very largely based off of a lot of the pictures I saw of the Siegfried line, Dragon's Teeth. Yeah, technically they're supposed to be bigger, I think, but I couldn't really find anything that worked. So I just decided to do cobblestone wall. Then you have a nice little anti-vehicle trench, and actually anti-personnel, really, because vehicles can just like ride right over it. Yeah, so from this point on, this is relatively accurate. Now you see here that you have the, sorry there's noise in the background, whatever. This railway does exist near Xanten, not quite this close, but you know, generally. As you come towards here, you have the very recognizable entrance into Xanten. You have these two towers, I'll call them, and this large, I suppose, sort of like a gatehouse sort of thing over there. Right, and you know, if you actually search up Xanten and from World War II, this is the picture that likely will come up of these two things with an armored car driving in. There might have been something here, but I couldn't really be sure, so I left it out. So as we go in here, you can imagine that this tower would be very good for defending. Go up here, boom, yeah, like you get a pretty good view, go all the way up, and you know, it's even better, you kind of just bird right down on them. You keep going, some more defenses, and then we enter into the town, and well, yeah. Again, typical of a lot of battles, a lot of destruction. The houses are torn apart, rubble's left everywhere, craters in the road. For once, I elected not to add interiors just because of the amount of destruction that's there. I didn't really see a point to having that. Now, Xanten is incredibly limited in what I built. If you go over here, you kind of look nice, and then up, there's a border. Border here. That entire area is empty. This entire area is empty, empty, empty. Those houses are actually all like empty. They're hollow on the inside. Some of them aren't even finished. Xanten is supposed to be the last part. Now again, this is not supposed to be one-to-one recreation, so there's quite a bit of inaccuracy in the buildings and the length and whatever, but again, the point of this build is not to be accurate, it's just supposed to be a fun and enjoyable map that, you know, more or less tells the story of the battle, right? And again, that's basically what I want to do with my Minecraft builds, is tell a story, not necessarily recreate it. Although, you know, recreating I think is a good tool. Actually, there's supposed to be a very recognizable church right here, but I decided not to put that in. I should have, but yeah, I didn't. Now to go from street view, this actually looks a lot nicer. You know, you can kind of see, oh, this is where the Germans likely will camp, or the British and Canadians. So yeah, that is Operation Blockbuster. This was actually quite a bit of a stretch for me, as it was it required me to be quite creative with things, but I actually really like how it turned out, both in terms of like my border limitations. Like over here, you can barely tell that there's actually supposed to be a border here, and over this way, the same thing. The things that I could build that were recognizable, I did, and yeah, I actually had quite a bit of fun building this. I have to say, it's a lot easier to build this sort of thing than to build one-to-one, especially because you don't have to do measurements, you don't have to you know, plot out, you know, the rows precisely. You can kind of just be like, yeah, I know, I'll eyeball it. You know, so road down there's a road over there, and there's a wall. So kind of build up as it happens. So yeah, that is basically Operation Blockbuster. I'm still doing Juno. I just haven't been able to do it much. I've been getting really frustrated with Consortium here, but yeah, I hope you enjoy the map. Download it off of Planet Minecraft as usual. I don't really know what else to say. Yeah. Oh yeah, please tell me if there's any issues with the map, if you find any issues, and yeah, have a nice day.